Morning, Karl.
Good morning, Luke. How are you?
I am very well, sir. Good to
Very
see you.
good. And you?
Well, the first bit works, so we're safe.
That's good. It's a good start, at least.
Indeed. So, Karl, for everybody that doesn't know you, just quickly introduce yourself, a bit of background, where you're from and where you are now, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my name is Karl. I'm the technical sales manager for Goodman UK, and I've spent, gosh, the last 25 years, I would say, working in timber, aluminium, mainly windows, but facades in general. We started off many years ago as an importer from Scandinavia, and then we moved through into manufacturing, curtain walling, windows, doors, all of those items within the package. So we would, in the initial stages, meet with the architects, maybe 18 months, 2 years before the project came to site. We would then do the detailed design. We would carry out the manufacturing works ourselves, and then we would go to site and install. And working with those products, I would be selling into commercial, local authority, and private sectors as well. So yeah, I've spent what's starting to feel like quite a long time in in this particular sector.
Excellent. And now your role is obviously with Goodman.
Yes, that's
And
right.
what are you responsible for in the UK?
It's more the technical side of the business in the UK. So as we kind of stretch our legs a little in the UK and more partners come on board, what we want to make sure is that they are supported from a technical point of view. So if people are maybe dipping a toe into the water for the first time, there'll always be areas that they're not totally sure of. How does it work? And it's one thing to email over a brochure, but it's normally better to have someone that either you can pick up the phone to, or I can drop in for half an hour or a day, whatever people need, and show them how it works. So
Sure.
I'm really here to give people a bit of security and a bit of safety in the knowledge that there's a safety net here for them if they need it.
Excellent. And the main reason I wanted to get you on this morning, Karl, is because we've spoken at reasonable length about the opportunities that cross your desk, and the opportunities for timber windows in general. I know you're more interested in the alley clad version side of things, but there's no doubt there's opportunity for timber, and especially with the Goodman Lignum partnership and product that we've created between us. I think it's really exciting times. So would you just share a little bit of what comes across your desk, how you see it developing in the future?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think what I'd like to start with, if it's okay, is just a very brief snapshot of the type of projects that we are seeing in the UK and the type of projects that come across my desk all the time.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
Do you want to share your screen or?
yes. Now, interestingly, my laptop has just snapped into German. So I
I
just
do
need
quick
to,
translate.
I'm just trying to find the share screen.
There you go.
There we go. Right. Apologies, everyone, for my lack of IT skills. So, very quickly, we see on a weekly basis a huge variety of projects. The variety is basically from small scale commercial, which could be anything from 5 windows upwards, up to kind of larger commercial size buildings. So, I'm just going to give a very quick, slightly whistle stop tour from some of the very recent projects that we've seen here. So one of the commercial offerings that's recently been completed was a timber frame office building, or CLT on a steel structure, I should say, office building in Hackney. And there we had, I think it was 6 stories of the curtain walling system. And as usual with the curtain walling system, within that you have a series of infills, whether that is something like lignum with ventilation systems or fall prevention systems. But there's normally within the curtain walling system, we will have doors, windows, vents, that kind of thing. But this would be one of the sort of medium-sized projects that we get specified for. So if we move on to the next project.
Carl, you're not moving. The
Ah,
PDF's just on the home screen, on the first page.
is it moving now?
No.
Ah, all right. Why is it not moving for you guys? And it is moving for me. Hang on. How is it moving now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we'll do it this way then. We'll do it this way. So commercial, and then if we move into large scale residential, this is, I suppose, it's a kind of grand designs kind of project where we're looking at large scale residential buildings. Again, this would normally be a mixture of curtain walling, the Lara sister, and Gutmann Lignum systems, you know, an opening system within the curtain wall. But we see a lot of these kinds of projects where people with relatively deep pockets are perhaps looking to make a certain kind of statement. And as glazed facades become, you know, more and more popular, then the systems that we can offer are able to achieve these kind of openings that people are looking for. I won't bore you with the detail. That's something that, you know, we can look at another stage. That's an unusual system where the sliding system hides behind the curtain wall. If we look at public sector works, schools, hospitals, care homes, this is a real boom sector for us. I think the performance of the timber composite window, particularly in these kinds of projects, is something that is just becoming ever more and more popular. What the clients, particularly in these kind of environments, are looking for is something that is essentially maintenance-free externally. But internally, you've obviously still got all the benefits of a timber system. And I think for a lot of people, whether they're private clients or whether they're commercial clients, people will be always drawn towards a timber window for its beauty. You know, I don't think any other system could really compete with that. But it has to be said, there are certain environments in which it's either not possible to externally maintain a system easily. Perhaps it's, you know, relatively high rise or access is limited, or there isn't the budget to do it, or, you know, I guess in all honesty, people can't be bothered. So I think that's one of the things that pushes the composite system, that you end up with something that is the best of both worlds. And like I say, for us, schools, hospitals, care homes, we see a huge number of these every month.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Carl, with the fact that people want that maintenance-free scenario on the outside. And you're right. I think the biggest reason is they can't be bothered. But they do see the beauty of the timber on the inside. I've had lots of people explain it in that very way, because from the outside, as you're approaching a building with the aluminium clad, it always looks nice and clean and tidy. It's obviously, you know, the color is the color that you choose. It's a case of just wiping it down. It's not repainting or anything like that. It's maintenance free. Just keep it clean, like you would, or you should anyway. And on the inside, you know, you can do whatever you like with the timber. You can have a nice oak finish. You can have it painted, but it's a lot easier to maintain from the inside.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think that's those are some of the driving factors. I'll just very quickly go through these ones. Hotels, that also, again, I think for the same reasons we've just outlined, I would say we probably see a couple of hotels a month coming through for us to price. And then lastly, mixed use development in London, where the developer is having to put up housing where you have to have some affordable units, you have to have some sort of purchased at market rate units. That seems also to be highly in demand for the composite system. And I think what the composite system does, what Gutmann does, I'm just going to close that because I don't think we need that anymore. What Gutmann is about is, although we are selling the window, what we also offer to you is a full system for the package that you're providing. So you might choose just to provide the windows, but in order to up your margin, you might choose to offer the window sills that go with it, or you might want to put your lignum system within the curtain wall. And again, that opens up other avenues for, a sort of commercial perspective. So we're not just selling the window, we're trying to sell an entire solution. And by adding these other components into the lignum offering, you're able maybe to compete in a way that you weren't if you simply sell one component.
Absolutely. So we've sort of moved on to what I was going to ask about opening up markets and opportunity for growth. Obviously, you're getting these projects over your desk. You are, unlike myself now in the world I work in these days. I used to be in the specification world. We're talking to lots of architects. I don't anymore. I'm more focused on joinery manufacturers or window and door manufacturers. But you deal with a lot of architects, and the opportunity that the Gutman Lignum partnership brings with those architects. What's your view on that?
Well, I mean, one of our strengths is that because of the size of the company, there is a degree of brand recognition amongst facade designers. So whether that is the end client, or perhaps more typically it will be the architect, or it'll be the facade consultancy, when they're looking for the kind of products that we produce, we will often be their first stop. So we'll have our foot in the door, because from a design point of view and a technical advisory service, they know they can come to us and we will walk them through the process. And really what that means is, what we are looking for, what we want to do, is extend what Paul Barton calls the Gutman umbrella to our partners here. And we think that there is a benefit to Gutman Lignum in that the producers of it are able to benefit from what you might call co-branding with us. So it's not that we want to take anyone's business and use it under our name. It's the opposite, that if you're interested in starting to produce lignum, then the leverage that you might get by saying, well, this is one of Gutman's projects, we are supported by Gutman, and leaning on that brand a little bit, it might be that it helps you to win perhaps slightly larger projects than you might otherwise have done, because there's a solidity and a size to Gutman. And as well, that kind of brand awareness amongst the designers and the architects, that is something that we can sort of cascade down to our manufacturing partners. And we're keen for people to benefit from that. We want that to be a tool that people can capitalize on.
Sure. And obviously you and I have discussed how we sort of perhaps kickstart that on a bigger scale than just talking one-to-one. So what we've decided is that we're going to look at, how we get Gutman Lignum specified by architects. So we're going to use this platform, Remo. Karl, you've kindly said that you will head this up because your contacts are so close with the architects. So you'll head up getting as many architects as we can on this Remo platform with a load of our lignum manufacturers, or Gutman Lignum manufacturers as well. We'll do a bit of a presentation on the Lignum brand, on the Gutman Lignum, what it brings, and then we'll have a bit of a networking scenario as we do on a joinery hour, but with a bunch of architects, specifiers, contractors, and our manufacturers, which Absolutely. I think will kickstart the route to specification.
I think it definitely will. I mean, one of the things that regularly crops up when we are talking to the architects and the main contractors is particularly the main contractors who essentially, once the project starts, they are in the driving seat. What they're looking for are UK manufacturers. They're risk averse. And what they don't really want to do is introduce any extra risk into that chain. And they're always asking, well, where is it made? Is there a UK manufacturer? And there seems to me to be a tremendous opportunity for manufacturers to come to the front of the queue now with our help if they're interested. And for us to say, yeah, look, here, Gutman Lignum, manufactured in the UK. And I think there's a huge appetite for that, both commercially from the main contractors, but also for the architects as well, who have a different view on where has this come from? How and where am I buying?
Absolutely. And I think because we've obviously developed a system. So the lignum is a system. The Gutman lignum is an addition to that system. We have already, I think, got the largest manufacturing facility in the UK. I've said it before, and we're growing that facility every joinery manufacturer we bring on board. So the scale of projects that we could actually achieve, maybe not out of one factory, but with various factories taking on parts of the job, essentially making the same project off the same tooling set with the same clad, etc., same paint finish. It gives a humongous opportunity. So we will be organising that between us, Karl, pretty soon. So watch this space. And last but not least, just explain the ease of assembly with the clad system that we've developed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think one of the factors that needs demystifying, and it certainly did when we started manufacturing, is how easy is it to do? And the honest truth is that it's an extremely simple process. We will provide you with a factory finished lignum framing system. So you have to do anything to it. It comes ready to be directly fixed onto the timber structure. And the way that's done is you get a series of washer clips, which are screw fixed through the clip into the external face of the timber. You then drop the aluminium frame over those, and within the extrusion pattern, those clips automatically dock. And then you have two options. We either give you a special key that turns and locks, or you gently tap the surface of the aluminium and the jaws are sprung and they clip the aluminium on. And once you've done it once, that pattern is repeated irrespective of the size of the section that you're making. And I would say to clad an aluminium window, once you know what you're doing, it might take 5 minutes, but that's it. And there's nothing to do to the aluminium. I mean, you can buy it in bar length, chop it and cleat it yourself if you want to, but we will provide something that is secretly welded, no visible miters, nothing for you to do. So you don't have to invest in any specialist machinery, any tools. It comes ready for you to apply. And once you get to that stage, I'll be delighted to come and see you and spend a day, half a day, whatever you want, going through it so that you're comfortable with it.
That's amazing. So thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, everybody can mob Karl when we go back to the floor with any questions. But until then, I guess watch this space for the next step.
That's great. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.